Hi, Oscar. We will wait for people to show up. Hello to people who will watch this later. It's a surprise one. I've No, the only live stream I did on a weekend was with Blur. So, this is very unlike. I usually don't release videos on Sundays either, but hi, Blur. Yes, surprise. I came on a Sunday. I'm very excited to watch these episodes though, but I know that Totoro is going to be a very important companion for this because we're finally at Las Noches. We're finally with the Espada, with the Arrancar, and it's very nerve-wracking for me because I'm like there's no like going back, right? There's no just like waiting for the Arrancar to leave. So I'm very nervous. Grammy, hi! Welcome. Oh, going in my Discord, Grammy, doing a better job than I am. You're always like on it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably like tell people stuff. I just assume that people will come if they want to. Maybe they don't want to. That's not my decision. I'm excited for these episodes though, especially since like we left the main story for a while. Hi, Inkling. Hello. So because we did like our little like side story, right? Blur. Yeah, Blur. I put it in the background. You know what? It was in my Tower of God. Nobody commented on it, so you were wrong. I'm sure for like a Bleach reaction, because most people on my channel are here for the Bleach reactions, that someone would have called it out. But as of now, no one has said anything on the Tower of God reaction that I did that it was in the background. So I don't know. It's kind of I don't know if I like block it. I know for like most of the Tower of God one because I have like the actual like panels on the side that it was probably blocked. Like you probably couldn't see it for most of it, as opposed to like my anime reactions where like there's nothing blocking the screen, so then you could probably see it more. Yeah, I wish that like I don't know if there's a way to do it, but it would be cool if there would be a way for me to like play it on a stream, but I don't know how I would work that out yet. I'd have to like look up how to. I think it'd be more fun if I did like online gaming because then if it's like Mario Kart but online, then you guys can play with me. I think that'd be so much more fun. Hello everybody. So excited. Blur. I mean, okay, one thing is like I know people were like, "Hey, it'd be fun if you did gaming, like a gaming stream." And I agree because I love video games. I really do. But I am also an awful person. And I don't know if I want you guys to see that side of me yet. Like, Blur, you can say, you know, that we should do some gaming together, but you haven't seen me game. I'm a completely different person. I'm so nice most of the time. And then as soon as I'm gaming, I just get really competitive and I am so determined to win that it's awful. Okay, I'm the kind of person who like I can be in first place in Mario Kart and I will still send a blue shell at you. Like I will still hit somebody with that shell. I could be lapping you and I'll still hit you with one. I'm awful. I want an N64 so bad. That's like like when you get like the blisters on like your palms because of the little like joystick had the like grooves in it. So if you were like playing a game where you had to like move the joystick really fast, you get like blisters from it. What a time. If you weren't suffering for your gaming addiction, what's the point, right? Childhood. Maybe someday I'll do some gaming. If I mean, I'd have to probably do like PC gaming, and I really don't. I have never done PC gaming because most of the stuff that I play is either console through like my brother having different gaming consoles, or it's handheld. Like it's my DS, which I love. So I don't know. I don't really know PC gaming that well. Your first console was the Wii? Oh, old. Inkling, that makes me feel like it's like a whole different generation of people. Because mine was the N64, was the first console I played. Or yeah, no, we got our Dreamcast later. I think the Dreamcast might be older, but we only got our Dreamcast later. Unless you count like arcade games, which I also did quite a bit when I was younger. I miss arcades. I should go to one. They're so much fun. But only with like you have to have someone with you. Like you can't go arcade gaming by yourself and have the same experience. Anyway, Bleach. Not to go on a tangent about gaming. I'm like so nervous about this whole thing. Yeah, the NES Blur. That's yeah, I was like NES, Dreamcast, N64. Like that's what I grew up with. And you guys are like Wii and PlayStation. I'm like, oh no. The thumbnail. I don't know what to expect from this. From these episodes. What is a dancing Arrancar? Like, what does that even mean? I'm like confused, but also intrigued by like what these couple of episodes are gonna be about. How do I make the title and the stream? Like the thumbnail? I just look up the titles of the episodes and then I find like a picture for it and I try not to like go too deep into finding pictures. Really, I should have like somebody do it for me or like have like a like fill-in thumbnail so like when I'm actually streaming it's just like a like basic picture of like Ichigo or something and then after the stream make a thumbnail because there's usually like specific parts of the episode where I'm like that part like that's my favorite part. I'm putting that in my thumbnail, but I just that's not what has happened yet. So maybe that's how I should start doing it so I don't get spoiled for things, but I always make them like right before I do the stream though. So it's not like I'm being spoiled for something that I can like think about for a long time, but Yay, my internet is good. I was hoping it might go out on me because I don't know. My Wi-Fi goes from like full bars to like 1 bar, and there's no like in between or like reason for it. It's just like it gives up its will to live, and then sometimes the internet just stops, and I'm like, well, you had full bars a second ago. Make up your mind. Yeah, I mean, if anyone wants Inkling, if you want to make thumbnails for me, that would be amazing. I don't know, maybe I can do something for like, I don't know, I'd have to think about how to do that because I have like I have like a templates that I just use for all of my thumbnails. I don't know what the easiest way to do that would be. We can talk about it. Inkling, if you want to make thumbnails for me, you can message me on the Discord and we can talk about it. But yeah, I feel like I don't have anything really to say going into these episodes because we did the little like filler thing and I know it's like canon, but it's definitely like its own independent story. And so like I feel like because the anime is based off of the source material, the manga, right? So because the little story that we did with the like Forest of Menos like wasn't in the manga, that means that probably we're not going to reference it again. I mean, maybe in like a filler arc, maybe, but because it didn't make it into the manga, I feel like we're just going to pretend like it didn't happen mostly. So I'm like I don't have anything to like recap to be like, so in the last couple of episodes this happened, so this is what I think is going to happen because I'm like I don't think it's going to transfer over. So I'm mostly interested in like I guess like which Arrancar, like which Espada are gonna get involved first, like kind of figure out who has more of a like I don't know because we've met like Grimjo who's like very like picks a fight as soon as he sees one kind of a person. He's like, all right, there's an intruder, there's an enemy, let's fight them and get it over with. Whereas like um Ukero Ukeora, I don't know if I'll ever pronounce his name right, but he's more like analytical, like he's more willing to kind of take a second and think about who he's gonna fight, if he's gonna fight them himself or if he's gonna like let someone else do it. Like, you know? So I'm like, I wanna know like who falls where with the Espada. See, everyone's always like, here's how you pronounce his name, and it's always like slightly different. And I'm like, I don't even know. Ukeora? Ukeora? Something like that. I'll have to listen closer when someone says his name and kind of get how they pronounce it. I'm like an auditory learner kind of person, so I'll have to listen to really get it in my head. Um, so yeah, uh, all of that rambling to say video games are cool and I don't know what this is gonna be. So should we just watch episode 150? Oh, like oh, see, because when you put I think like ki, like the Japanese version of like what that syllable would sound like, but it's more like kai, like it's more of a diphthong. Ukaiora. I think we have to like agree on a spelling system. See, in linguistics, for guys who don't know this, I have a linguistics degree, so I am a linguist. So we have an alphabet specifically for sounds and it's standard for everything. So I need a linguist to like phonetically write it for me. Ukiura? Isn't that what I was saying? I'll get it. Don't worry. I'll listen. If they say his name in like the next couple of episodes, I'll really try to like listen and see if I can get it in my brain. The weird thing is because it's like Spanish, right? So I'm like, okay, Spanish pronunciation, but I'm like, but it's being pronounced by Japanese people, so Japanese spelling, and I'm like, how, where's like the middle between the Spanish and the Japanese? I don't know. Anyway, I'll get it eventually, or I won't, in which case this is all just, a pointless battle at 50. Whatever. I already have Totoro with me, so is everyone ready to watch episode 150? Because I am super excited. And I don't know fully what to expect. We did have that little moment with like Orihime, but for the Sato scene, oh, I love my sweet boy. Okay, everyone ready? Yeah, it's the last guy. That's exciting too. Oh, my heart is already like starting to pound really fast. Okay, everyone ready? Oscar, it's 150, okay? Just making sure everyone's on the same page. 150, guy. Yeah, I know. Did it start to lag now? The moment I'm like, let's watch it, is when my internet is like, time to stop. Oscar, 150. We'll get to 151. We gotta go in order. Okay. Everyone ready? In three, two, one, go. It's just gonna be the opener at the beginning anyway, so if it's still a little bit laggy, then I apologize, but my thumbnail, is it good? I felt like my confused face was the best thing to go with like whatever the heck is happening in this episode because I'm like, what does a dancing Arrancar mean? Like, I don't know what to take from that. I don't know, can you really use it's like lower now though, because reflect in my glasses the same way? Yeah, I know that there's gonna be there's a little bit of lag right now. I apologize. Hopefully it won't be super awful. I mean, it's just like the opening and then now it's like the recap part. So if it lags, hopefully it's not that big of a deal, but I apologize if it's really awful and it just makes things slightly more difficult, but it is what it is, you know? Ugh, yeah. I really wish that he had left with them. I don't know if we'll ever see him again. 'Cause like he probably didn't make it into the manga, so yes, they told her that her friends were there for her. They did. Of course they did. Why wouldn't your friends come to get you? Well, I don't know. They're just clothes. No, don't give up. Girl, you gotta keep having faith, okay? You gotta keep believing that they can help you. Oh no. No! Hime, don't do this to me. I'm already stressed out. I love that Nell's like, why are you crashing through? There's a door over there. You can't leave Nell. She's a sweetie pie. You guys in the chat. I would actually play. I would love to see him dancing disco. Oh, you gotta take her. I love put out babysitter Ichigo. What happened? Well, now what? Oh. Uh-oh. But where's Snow? Was another like trap or something? Ooh. Underground cavern of some kind? This is true. Oh, we're just jumping. There's a ladder, Ichigo. You can take the ladder. No, there's also a ladder. You could have just gone up the ladder. Oh. Aw, I miss when she pronounced his name wrong. Uh, that's probably not good. Won't they get trapped though? If a bunch of debris falls? Okay, so there's like a tunnel. So at least they're not just gonna like be stuck, ooh, in this hole. Oh, oh, Ichigo. Having one of those days. One of those like couple of days, really. You better move before something else falls. Couldn't you still take the ladder though? I love the little like music in the background that is very like nursery rhyme. Did he just compare him to Rudolph? Because I love that. Uh, that's usually not good when there's a shiny thing in the distance. No, wait. It usually means something like bad. Usually. It's like a weapon or the gleam in someone's eye. I like how like Ishida is like in the middle of being like, so we should be careful. And Ichigo's like, or we can smash it. Poor Ishida. He's just trying to make as smoothly as possible. Ooh, spirit pressure. Who is it this time? In in this particular location. Splitting up. I mean, I guess that's like the most efficient, but it might be not the best tactic. It's true. You gotta trust that she can take care of herself. Just because he wants to protect everyone doesn't mean he needs to protect everyone. Yes, all together. Friendship. I'm worried about them all separating, though. I like when they can help each other. What's gonna happen to Nell and friends? Nell looks so shooken. She's like, wait. Oh, oh no. Oh. He finds out that Nell has come after him. I'm so worried about Orihime. It feels like she's giving up. So he's an Espada, right? Before. He did what now? He does seem to be playing with her emotions. Yeah, I was wondering at first, like, why they would let her say goodbye. Like, they would give her time between when they found her and when they actually brought her to, like, Las Noches. But considering how quickly the Soul Society was like, she must have done it by her own choice, which means that she could possibly be a traitor, right? And I guess, like, she kind of thinks of herself that way too, right? Like, Orihime is like, well, I wanted to protect my friends, but I did choose to be here. And even if it was like for the good of other people, it's still like in your mind, right? And you have time to like think about it and agonize over it. It starts to morph in your brain and become something more than it is. Ooh, flashback? I don't think she'll be much of a threat at the moment. I think Aizen can handle Orihime. Just saying. Is it though? Is it trust or is it just like reassurance that you can handle her or manipulate her? Use her power for what? Smart girl. I don't think so either. Wow. That's plan. It's a goal. I like that. That was a funnier episode than I was expecting. Like, I wasn't expecting to like laugh as much, but the pure chaos of this group, which is why, it was nice that like while they were together, we kind of got those funny moments. We got those like more like lighter interactions between them, especially now that they've like split up and we're probably not gonna see them together for a little while. I assume they're gonna kind of have their own little adventure, kind of like in Soul Society, like where they all split apart and we saw them on their own for a little bit before they came back together. So everything is part of Aizen's plan all the time. I feel like the next episode is also gonna be chaotic. Literally ended the episode and my internet disconnected. Or like the stream disconnected. Yeah, it's like got to the end, considered. Could have done it in the middle of the stream, so silver lining. Yeah, I agree. Aizen sees everyone as a tool. And like I remember being confused at first when they were like, okay, we're gonna let Orihime like say goodbye to someone because I'm like, why would they let her go? Because if they could have just taken her while she was like traveling between Soul Society and like the living world, then why didn't they? Like why would they let her go if they could just take her? And like why let her say goodbye to someone? So and then it was kind of like, well, when when the Soul Society was like talking about Orihime like her leaving, and I was like, and then they're like, well, obviously she left of her own free will. So if she did, then that means that she's probably a traitor, like treating her like a traitor. And they're like, well, we don't want to waste, you know, people and resources to go and rescue her if she's just wants to be there. Like if she is a traitor, then we've wasted all this effort to go and get her. And like that's like not only manipulating like the Soul Society's actions and like limiting who can come and help Orihime, but it's also like affecting her because she's like, well, I did come of my own free will. Like she did it to save her friends and because she thinks that it's like the right thing to do in that moment to help them, but at the same time she's still going to be thinking like I I did leave my own accord and like what do my friends think because I left of my own free will. And so it's like psychological warfare and it's so much more intricate than I think a lot of shows kind of go into when it comes to like the the super villain, the like, the big villain of the show, right? There, okay. Apparently I'm connected again. Hopefully it's okay. um, but yeah, like it's both solving a mystery and trying to like get like be strong enough to fight. Like it's not just combat, it's also like intellect. And that's what I really like about the way that Aizen kind of goes about his plans. I don't like his plans. I don't like the idea of him just like wiping out an entire city in order to make himself some kind of king. But I like character development kind of side of things. And I think it brings out a lot of different abilities in the characters too, because like as Ichigo and his friends try to, you know, stop or at least hinder Aizen's plans in some way, like they have to also be smart and they have to like be strategic. So it forces them to develop not only in a like power up scale, like you find a lot with shonen, but it's also about like leveling up how you think about different problems and like for the people that you're up against. Yeah. Yeah, like I feel like Orahime's friends like definitely aren't gonna be like, oh, she's a traitor, um, unlike the society does, but I feel like even but like they're still gonna be questioning about it, right? Like there's still gonna be that thought of like why? Why did she leave like by her own will? And regardless of whether or not they would doubt her loyalty. Like she probably still feels guilty in some way. Like there's probably prove herself now, like, with her whole plan that she has about, actually like stopping Aizen is partly just her like probably being like, well, I'm here, and while I'm here, like I have to try and do something to stop his plans. Like the more that I learn about his plans, the more it's my responsibility to do something to stop them or have come to help her. She's like, well, I have to do something to help them. I feel like that's how Orahime's mind is going to be working. Like that she kind of to Aizen isn't for like nothing, isn't just to protect her friends in that moment, but also like something that is ultimately beneficial to them fighting him or defeating him in some way. My heart rate is like a little intense though. One more episode though, guys. Episode 151. And then that's like technically the end of the arc until like the next part of the Arrancar arc because it's really long. Yeah, I feel so bad for family where they're just like, oh no, which way did she go? Like they're like, yeah, we're gonna go with her, and then they're like, oh no, where'd she go? Arc finale, yes. I don't know if it'll be like very epic in scope, given that there's like more episodes in the Arrancar arc. So I assume it'll be like not that grand because it's not technically the end, especially since there isn't like a filler arc after this. Like it just keeps going with episode 152. So also like 151 episodes in, guys. That's like a lot for me. I don't watch a lot of long running shows. So this is a lot of episodes. I know some of it I skipped over, but still, I think the longest, maybe not anymore. I was gonna say the longest show I watched was Hunter x Hunter, which is like 148 episodes. But then I started watching Naruto. So I think I'm more than that into Naruto. Okay. You guys ready for episode 151? Exciting. Last episode in the arc before, I don't know, of the next arc it. I haven't looked it up to make my playlist yet. I feel like this next episode is going to be partly chaotic and partly intense fighting. But we'll see. Yeah, everyone ready? Their episode 151 ready to watch it? I'm excited. I'm excited and like nervous. I'm like procrastinating a little bit. But I want to know who this dancing Arrancar is. So there's only one way to find out. Okay. In three, two, one, go. With my favorite opener so far, Oscar. No, 151. Stay with the group. This seems like an overly intricate way of like holding an object too, to have like the circles go out. That seems just a little eccentric. Yeah, the dancing on cars coming up is epic. People seem to like this dancing Arrancar. People have been commenting that he's a bit of a favorite. I don't have any tea with me this time either. I feel like I should always have a cup of tea with episodes that have eyes in. Oh, lots of love for the dancing Arrancar. I mean, I'm excited. What's Boa Boa doing? Just hanging out outside? Is he good? I worry. I still love that they like smashed through the wall and Nell was like, but there's a door. Because like that would be me. I'd be like, why are we smashing through the wall? There's a door. Yeah. Boa Boa's just like chilling outside. I mean, that's probably best. I don't know how good at combat he would be. Yes, everyone's off on their own. I'm sure they'll do all right. I worry when they split up. Like they've been doing really good at fighting so far, but they've also been together, like at least two of them together fighting for most of it. Bubba is with his like Appa. True. I love Appa. Just kind of hanging out while everyone else is fighting. Hello. Introduce yourself. Nice mustache. Ichigo, are you telling me you can't sense that? You're not paying attention to your surroundings like he is? He knows Nell's coming. I like that Ichigo just keeps running. Ooh. No. Oh, answer my question. Left him outside. He eats sand? Don, what's his name? Yeah, they got lost. It's true. I mean, lost is relative. Oh, so now we said something. Ooh. He's ready for a fight, isn't he? Look at that face. Well, you don't need to wreck the architecture. Ooh. Not exactly the grand entrance I was expecting, but okay. Wasn't it Ikagu who was also dancing when Ichigo first met him? And Ichigo was like, "What are we doing? What's happening?" Yeah, like that. I don't know if magnificent is what I would use, but it was an entrance. It was memorable. Even Nell's like, okay. Oh, voice drop. So he's 103. So not an espada. I mean, I think I knew that because we've seen the espada like on the little dinner, little meeting thing that they had around the table. What was that? I mean, he's dodging well. Ichigo hasn't unwrapped his Zanpakuto though, so things haven't gotten real yet. I mean, hopefully we don't have to take on Aizen. Um, Thank you, Davi, for the translation. Ooh, no, Ichigo. You shouldn't laugh at her pain. You should check if she's okay. That's what I'm saying. Not even paying attention. Look, Ichigo is busy being in single parent mode, okay? He's got other things going on. Ooh, getting more serious. Tosin. Such a weird two personalities together. Like Gin and Tosen. Like they're so different. I'm still curious about Wonderwise, but like what his I don't know powers are, deal is. I agree. I've always been wary of Gin. Never trust a smile like that. An interesting place. What does that mean? I also would like to know exposition. Exposition, please. Why? Oh, so is the level of an espada, but doesn't have a rank anymore for some reason. I thought they would just like, you know, off whoever was an espada who was demoted for whatever reason. Who are you? So tres, three, right? So I'm assuming there are three of them. Oh no, three because of the digits, right? So there could be multiple of them. It's just a reference to the number. So we do have more than 10 espada to deal with. You just keep multiplying. I haven't even met the 10 ranked ones yet. He's very acrobatic in his fighting style. Ichigo's keeping up for the most part, though. I agree, I mean the music is so good. Like as much as the Arrancar like, you know, stress me out, the music for them is always so good. Well, I mean, you might want to check your landing though, if not necessarily your footing. Ooh, or maybe the landing wasn't the thing you should have been worried about. Gotta call everyone Nino. Do the mask thing. Come on, Ichigo. You obviously need some more firepower. Ooh, good block. I mean, you might have to though. It'd be interesting to see if you can though. If you can defeat him. That's right, he hasn't even used his weapon, and he's been knocking Ichigo around. What does the smoke mean? Okay. That's pretty cool though. It's a pretty cool power. The like double like snake things. See, he's pulling out all the stops, Ichigo. How can you expect to beat him if you're only like sort of fighting? Oof. Ooh. He's not doing well now. No? Are we finally gonna figure out some of Nell's abilities? Yeah, Ichigo not doing well. Though, I mean, we had a bunch of like wins for him in the recent episodes, and I'm like, it can't last. Like, there's no way it's gonna last. I do like that Arrancar though. I see what you guys mean. Great job with the voice actor too. Whoever voiced him, the Japanese one, because I'm watching it subbed. I don't know what it's like dubbed, but the way that he was able to go from like the higher kind of sounding one for like comedic relief and then like the like lower, more like sinister voice for when he was like more serious. It's a good touch. What a way to end the arc though. I really want to know what Nell's powers are though. We saw like a little bit of it when she like headbutted Ichigo, but I want to kind of more fully explore that. No, he cannot do this by himself. Are we gonna go? We're gonna go Bankai? Yes. The Fallen Espada. Sure. Always like on the string. Like, oh no. Uh, yeah, I mean, I guess like I understand where Ichigo is coming from, where he's like, I want to be able to beat, someone without using my Bankai because that means that I can defeat the other Espada. I can beat probably Aizen is kind of like where his eyes are at, where he's like, I want to be able to like have enough power that I can handle something like this without going full out. Because when I do need to go full out with my power, I want it to be against someone who's like legitimately a lot stronger. So like I understand, but at the same time, I'm like, is it worth getting beat up about? Like, if you're just not strong enough yet, like you can't force it. And I get like it's like a good way of kind of testing where he's at, but I'm like, at a certain point, you just have to accept that you need to go all like you need to use your power in order to like survive. Yes, the funny, meek looking characters, they're not always just comic relief. Sometimes they've got a lot of firepower behind them. I mean, look at Ikagu. Ikagu was like a comedic character like when he first showed up. And I was like, oh, it's just like a funny character and like gonna be like a one-off character that Ichigo fights one time in the Soul Society and then he's gonna move on and we're not gonna see him again. But he's actually like a crazy strong character and he's used a lot for comedic relief, but he's also just really strong. So never take funny characters lightly. Yeah, don't trust appearances. I agree, especially like with when you don't really know who's like Arrancar and who's like where exactly people fall in the hierarchy, like even just like who's a ranked Espada and like what their rank is, like you don't really know until you see the number, and even then, like you still don't know who's the most powerful. Like even within like the Soul Society, you can't say that, right? Because we've seen with like Kampachi's squad, there are lots of strong people in that are like strong enough to be captains in their own right, but they aren't. And then they're, like, so it doesn't really, even within like the hierarchy of the Soul Society and the squads, you can't even know from someone's ranking how strong they are. So like, if we're intentionally drawing comparisons, with the way that the narrative is formed between the Soul Society and the like Arrancar and Las Noches and stuff, that I'm assuming that the ranking isn't always the be all and end all of like someone's strength either, because just because you fall in a certain rank doesn't mean that that's like an actual like show of your power. It could also just be like that's where you sit in that ranking because that's where you want to be. Like who knows, right? Right, Javi, you're from Spain. You're the one who speaks Spanish. I do not. We do not learn Spanish in Canada. So I can like count in Spanish. I know like a few words, but that's all I got. I am always worried about Sado, Oscar, always. But he's been training a lot. And, I worry about him because he's definitely like a brute force kind of fighter, like close combat, brute force kind of fighter. Like he's like the tank of the party, right? So I just worry about him going up against someone who's like a long distance fighter or someone who like is a little bit more uses more like cunning for the way that they fight, because I'm not sure if that's something that he can like compensate for quickly to like change the way that he fights. Like I don't know how adaptable his power is. So as opposed to like I feel like Ishida has like far more adaptability in the way that he uses his powers. Like his abilities, I feel like he knows them a lot better. Like he's had longer to train with them. He's grown up around people who have similar abilities, whereas like Seto doesn't have that. So I definitely I'll be interested to kind of see how he develops as he has to fight more on his own. Yeah, I agree. Crunchy Soba. It's like whenever I'm like, yeah, I know who that character is. I know what to expect from them. I'm wrong. Like I feel like Bleach always like intentionally lulls you into like a false sense of security just to like prove you wrong. I spent all that time with Ishin being like, ah, the goofy dad, like he's supportive, but like he's mostly comic relief. And then, egg on my face, he's a Soul Reaper. So probably like captain level Soul Reaper. And I was like, oh, I guess that's what we're dealing with now. So appearances, never to be trusted. I appreciate that, Javi, that you're giving translations, because I wouldn't know. Oh, so Ishida is going to be the next one? The next fight? Yeah, like, and that's another thing too, is like, I feel like because Ishida is like more of a strategic thinker, that like sometimes I think it slows him down in like his reactions because he's thinking through stuff. But I feel like it makes him, because he's so analytical, he like, you know, he banks, strategies and like observations and stuff, and he like has it all in his head from all the different past fights and encounters that he's had, that he can like pull up that knowledge when he's fighting people. Whereas I feel like Ichigo gets there. Ichigo can do it sometimes. Like I feel like he has to be desperate enough to kind of feel like, okay, hitting it really hard, figure out how to do this. And I feel like Seto can do that too, but he's like both Ichigo and Seto have kind of like they're more close combat. They're more like, you know, brute force kind of way of fighting. like the strategic way of fighting. Like they come more from that side of things. Renji, I don't know, most of the time he's like I want to say like most of the time he's brute force, but he really isn't. Like I feel like he kind of has this like almost persona of being like a brute force kind of like just go for it impulsive kind of fighter. But then, he fights when he had to fight Ichigo and they had their rematch, like knowing what Ichigo was capable of and like having that in his brain when he went up against Byakuya, he had a plan and he was like, this is how I have an advantage, fighting against him. So I feel like Renji like hides behind the idea of him being impulsive, but I don't think he's as impulsive as he makes people believe, which might be a little bit of, you know, strategic thinking on his part, rash than he actually is, whereas he actually thinks about it. I think there's like good and bad things about both styles. I think it really depends on who they're fighting and like what style that person has of fighting and also like how they compensate for the weaknesses. I think Sendo is like much stronger than even he thinks right now, Oscar. I think there's so much about his ability that like nobody really knows yet. It's a lot like Orihime. Like I feel like the limits of both of their abilities has not been discovered yet, and not just like by them, but I feel like even people who are like really knowledgeable in different fighting styles and different like magics in the world and abilities and stuff, like they don't even know because they haven't seen it before. So I think there's a lot of growth that's going to happen with both of them with their abilities as they kind of get more chances to kind of push what they're capable of. I mean, obviously Ichigo's abilities are probably also way more uh there's way more to them than I currently understand or he understands because he's our protagonist, and also he always has like exceptions to the way that everyone else's, like his soul reaper powers, but like they're slightly different, and even like his like hollow abilities, they're slightly different. Like he's always like slightly out of the norm, that I'm sure there's more to it. Yeah, that's true. He did win his fight against Mayuri. I think part of that too was like the power boost, but also part of it of just like I think he caught Mayuri a little off guard, which I think is like an accomplishment in and of itself to catch Mayuri, you know, at a loss or like without doing something that he wasn't expecting or he wouldn't have thought of. So, I think Ishida has a lot of potential, but like I said, I feel like he gets stuck in his head. Like he hesitates and he starts to think about things, and he's trying so hard to be strategic and think things through and be careful that it makes his reactions slow. And sometimes you just need to take action. Like I feel like that's something that he can learn from being around Ichigo, is like you need to know when to like strategize and when to think about stuff, and other times you just need to act quickly in order to like either have the upper hand or to help people. Like sometimes you just need to jump in. So I think he still has a lot to like kind of come into his own for. I think he's still trying really hard to like live up to what his idea of a Quincy is, and like who his grandfather was and the expectations of his father. Like he's very much filtering himself through the people around him. So I think he needs to kind of figure out himself independent of those factors a little bit more. Yeah, Oscar, I agree. He gets stuck on the theory. Like he knows the proper form of like he's supposed to have while he's fighting. He knows like what's the proper way to use his abilities and stuff. And I think part of that is he wants to do that to like prove that he's good at being a Quincy, prove to his dad that he can be a good Quincy, but like at the same time he needs to kind of figure out what works best for him as like an individual fighter. like he isn't his grandfather, he isn't his father, he's his own person. So he kind of needs to like be a little bit more creative and outside of the box and a little bit more spontaneous sometimes. I talked a lot. Final thoughts, guys. I've been live for a little while. I want to make some lunch soon. Those were good though. I really, really want to see the next episode because I want to know what's going on with Nell. Ever since she showed up, I was like, okay, she looks like a child. Like even we saw like just a tiny clip of her when she was like running and crying and we thought that something bad was happening with her. I was like, okay, but she has a mask. And so she has a mask that means that she's like an Arrancar. And I'm like, well, she's very humanoid. Well, we know like the more human an Arrancar looks, that's usually means the more powerful they are. So I'm so excited to kind of see what little Nell is capable of because I'm sure it's like, giant power in a tiny tiny form. So yeah, I'm gonna end the stream there. I'm so glad you guys could join me for this kind of impromptu stream. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad it could work because I filmed that one reaction without going live and it was so weird because I love doing these reactions live with you guys. I know there's some like issues still with it and stuff, but it's still a lot of fun. I hope you guys also enjoy them. And yeah, I will see you guys soon with more Bleach and more videos. And ooh, hit my mic because, you know, that's what happens most of the time. So I'll see you guys soon. And we'll watch the new arc. We'll start the new arc. It's very exciting. So bye-bye. Bye everybody.